We're live. Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening. It's 8:35 p.m. and I've got my water here. I've got my chat all loaded up. All I have to do is start self-promoting myself on my Instagram page. Follow that, and my Discords, and we will be ready to go. Now, as you can see in the corner, the book we are going to be reading is called The Bible 2.0. Now, this is a book by Nathan Smith, and on the very surface, it looks super damn weird. I mean, I found this book 4 years ago, but I have not gotten to read the entire thing yet. Partly because I don't have the brain cells. But this isn't a joke about atheism. No, once we get into the book, you will understand just how horrid this is and just how hilarious the entire book can be. So, follow me on a journey as we delve into the mind of the man known as Nathan Smith. I'm gonna need a big drink of this stuff here. I may end up having to, get a refill because there's gonna be a whole lot of talk in this stream. The Bible 2.0 by Nathan Smith. Copyright 33 AD. Of course you see a Bible when you come. Trust me, this is something completely different. This is the olden time book of the God and Shite Testamentorium Emporium and Pickle Fairy. You won't find that in the Bible 1.0, no, but you shall find it in the Bible 2.0. Chapter Uno. In the beginning, there was nothing. And then God was all like, "What's up, biatch? Boo yeah. Wiggity wiggity woo," and made a gesture that one would expect with such a statement. And there was a great gnashing of teeth, even though they hadn't been invented yet. They were very gnashy. So God was like, "This shit, this is hella boring. I'm out. For real." And God took off for a little bit to chill in his crib. Time hadn't been invented either at this point, but we're willing to fudge the facts a lot. Then God came back. Whoosh. He made a little whooshing noise as he returned. It was all like whooshy and junk. God was all like, "Bada boom, bada bing, yo yo yo. Let's get this shit started, motherfuckers." Then he grabbed his crotch and stuck his finger in the air like Michael Jackson and yelled, "Hoo!" And he did a little kick. Through this gesture, God created the heavens and earths and Kentucky Fried Chicken, all while totally moonwalking, even though moon had not been created yet. Then God created the moon and was all like, "The moonwalk, duh," while gesturing to his head for the duh part and his feet for the moonwalk part. And the earth was as barren as that one chick from the Golden Girls who isn't dead yet. You know the one I'm talking about. Don't pretend like you don't know. You know, menopause. Then the weasel showed up and lo, for it had been known to many for some time that the weasels were intrinsically linked to the brine shrimp. The brine shrimp had begotten the cheese doodles. I forgot I didn't turn that off. I have to. Okay, I have to find out where to turn that off. That sound off. All right. Hopefully that works. As I was saying, the brine shrimp had begotten the cheese doodles, and they were freaking good and shit. And the Lord God in heaven, whose name was God, And so forth said unto those who were listening, Blessed are those who look upon the everlasting, oh crap, wrong one, the everlasting glory of the stone and the rock, and drink rockstar, and etc. ad nauseam, blah blah blah, yakety smackety doo doo doo. Giant frozen chickens erupted from the crust, and thrust upon themselves the righteous and Herculean task of putting the things together in junk. And the bugs were forged in their likeness 420 cuberts by 420 cuberts. And they were good. One was bad, but they kicked his bad ass to the curb on recycling day, and was recycled into a thong. And it was good. Like, damn good. On the second day, God ordered takeout, and it was late to arrive, as takeout hadn't been invented yet. And that was totally all that good. God was pretty pissed. What the frick, dude? Zone G. Suxor 1, said God. 14 3/4. There was a great storm. It winded and it blew. It blew and blew. It blew really hard. It blew until it smote. And then it blew some more. The smiting and blowing were all the rage until it seemed like it was the flavor of the week. People became jaded at the amount of smite and blowing, and protests were planned. It continued to escalate until an incident occurred when someone trampled some fruit. It was very sad. On the 117th day, God invented Richard Linklater. Richard Linklater begot Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith begot Seth Rogen. God was all, my name is Earl, comedic gold. NBCD had as a winner. They're bringing back Thursday nights to the hood. Faux real. Word. And the word was the word. The word, of course, being word. And birds were tragically not invented yet. So they couldn't be the word. Well, everybody's heard. I am so confused too. But we will get through this together. Then God invented methamphetamine. And it was like seeing Jeebus and shit. God cleaned his bathroom and played online poker for 3 days straight. Then God grew bored. He was just so sick of the scene. A pox on thee, from hell's bells, I stab at ye old and junk, proclaimed God, and it was good. On the 7th day God rested on his stoop with a fatty boom batty blunt and 240s of Yule. On the 8th and a half day, God had a banging hangover, so he rested some more. He did find time, however, to coin the term trustafarian, which meant to trust someone who was far away, the farness of which depended on your vision, be it nearsighted, farsighted, fart-sighted, or perfect vision. Not quite perfect as God's, though. The dude's got some serious fucking eyeballs. Later the term was changed to describe a white dude who has dreads and goes to shows with money from a trust fund. God kinda wished he had invented that version. That's the way God rolled. He was all like thinking about shit. Like, totally. Chapter de Deus de ex machina mana day. Then God created Adam. Adam was all, what's up, biatch, y'all, and he grabbed at his crotch. God was like, bitch, don't trip. Adam was all, sup. And then God was all like, sup. And so Adam was totally like, sup, sluts. And God was all like, y'all ain't about that, biznatch. What are those pants you are wearing, huh? Y'all ain't about shit. Hard. and it was good. So Adam goes to the store, but it didn't exist yet. This would have been a perplexing moment, but Adam was all cool with it, saying like, word. Several other things happen. The details aren't exactly 110% accurate at this point. You know, lots of stuff. And things. Stuff and things. Things and stuff. And there you go. You just keep on going and 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 going. After you've been going for a while, you go a little bit more. You'd think it wasn't possible, but God works in mysterious ways. There is a multitude of things, and also as well as some stuff. Don't get me started on the junk. There was also some stuff. There was also some things. Lots and lots of them. Really, I shitteth you not. Whether there was more stuff than things is hard to say, and also not too terribly important. What is important is that the stuff was, you know, and the things were, you know as well. The stuff, the things, both words of equal importance. Some people may think that one word is greater than the other, but those people may also be total idiot, moron, stupid, poopy, doo-doo head pussbags. I'm gonna get a water for this one. Stuff. Things. Stuff. Things. Stuff. Things. Stuff and things. Sometimes things are things, and sometimes stuff is stuff. It's not exactly rocket science. What is rocket science is, in fact, rocket science. You'd have to be a rocket scientist to be one. Cowabunga, dudes. And also don't forget about the junk. Adam got busted by a reindeer trying to squeegee a leak on the turnip patch. Adam was all like, busted. Bum bum bum. He really had no excuse, and he knew this, so he took a dump in his pants and was all like, what's up, huh? Most uncool, said God. This shit just ain't right. So, you, and you're that one thing. Adam was all like posting to his blog while text messaging God. Wizard, thanks for letting me crash here. See you laters, dudes. On the 14th day, after the second or third something or other, it was proclaimed that everyone should hop on their left foot while investing in birth control products. This proved to be an unpopular proposition, and it was always good, but this time, it totally freaking wasn't. So then, giant killer bunny, rabbits, ravaged the land, unto fro and through, which therein hereto hitherforth and so such which unto them at a time wherefore art thou or art not whereby filler, and also those words three, marp, gonards, and monkey boners. Adam was pissed, all like, what the frick? Isn't this my chapter? What the frick? When do I get some lines? What the frick? And his bowels spilled profusely. And then he slipped on his spilled bowels and fell into them and couldn't get back up. So he laid in his own sick. Later he saw an ad on daytime TV for a law firm that specializes in such occurrences. He sued himself and won. Amen. And like Adam begot Eve, and Eve like begot Hurry in the Hundersons, and they begot many laughters. There was a guy named Joe. He had a place you could eat at. Totally. So like back in the ye olden time bookie of the God and Shite Testamentorium, Emporium, and Pickleberry days, there were giant bees forged in the likeness of giant bees. They measured exactly 69 cubits by 69 cubits, depending on the going rate and whether that freaking snake guy was around. The giant bees were mighty fierce, that's for sure, Sherlock. You wouldn't see any bees now like they used to make them, that's for sure. They were freaking huge. Junk. Straight up for real. No dope. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. So saith thee. And another thing. Mother of pearl, butt twigs, and ass, and peanuts. Also the bees, like. So Adam like totally lived to the ripe old age of 6, at which point he stopped living, as in kicked the can, as in punched the bucket, as in he freaking died and stuff. 6 seems like a small amount, but back then they measured years in cubits, depending on the going rate at the time. Adam's son Rutherford and Augustus lived to 32 billion zillion, but that takes into account the great Kubert shortage of 11D17 and 2/3 years, and the fact that they were time-traveling cyborgs, who, by the way, had an awesome porn stash. Adam had begotten 2 sons, and he bestowed them with 2 oxen, a hacky sack, and 2 cuberts of rhubarb. A Bananarama cassette, tape, missing in its case, 2 slugs of Pontac, some dirty laundry, a rose inside of a glass bottle, missing the rose, and kind of burnt on one end. It smelled like burnt plastic. A map of Saskatchewan, a river named Phoenix, a half-eaten bagel, one of those singing Billy Bub fish dude thing stuffed thing missing the batteries, and a battery cover, a beginner's guide to playing accordion book, some crumpled bubblegum wrappers, a coupon for a free pizza with the purchase of another of equal or greater value, a bottle full of spit, a dead ficus plant, the alphabet missing the letter W, a single roller skate, a desk with a bunch of boogers wiped underneath it, nearly half a cubert-sized clover patch, a great deal on some car insurance, and the smug self-satisfaction that comes with being good at what you do. Maybe not the best, but still, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't. Then Mr. T showed up and was totally like, quick yo jibba jabba foo, brought to you by the multinational Globomart. And he whipped out his loins and dabbed on them in a bald guy's head who was laughing because they didn't know. They didn't do that in his town. Mr. T was all like, you got Mr. T-bagged, foo. And he totally exploded some kids with his mind. They were all like, meow boom. They blew up with a ferocity that had not been seen before. One moment. Alright. Their guts flew with a grace unlike any flying guts before it, or even after it, for like 2 whole seconds. The kitten guts flew and created what is today known as the Milky Way candy bar and Chunky Monkey ice cream. They totally thought that was cool, but it wasn't. Well, maybe it was. Then a bunch of flying chickens showed up, and they were super ninja assassins, and they were all like, "Hwah!" And they bounced around with a ferocity that had not been seen before. There were like, totally like, bouncing and stuff. Totally. God had created the trees, but where was the love? So God created strip bars, and it was good, in the loins. Then God got bored, so he shaved a dirty word into a sleeping goat. The goat was not amused. He did not laugh with a ferocity that had been seen before time and God and the Bible 2.0. Eat at Joe's, or don't. Your loss. If you're happy and you know it, clasp your fans. Clasp your mother freaking fans, y'all. Do it. Or don't. Whatevs, yo. Trademarked. Then God realized that who needs erotic emoticons when you have Unicode? See, it's totally a wiener and some balls. Quoth God, LOL, cocks. Then God decided that he had been too cool with everyone and stuff, so he became like a total dick. Snip, snap, just like that. He didn't return any phone calls for over a week. His mom was totally worried sick. He also used up all the toilet paper but left the roll out and left the toilet seat up with a pube sitting there and some piddle on the floor. He returned his books late to the library and then didn't pay the fines. He also totally peeled out his motorcycle in a parking lot. A visually perturbed old lady type grandmother threatened to call the cops when she saw him riding a skateboard on the sidewalk. God even cursed his own name in vain. He also said some other things that we aren't capable of repeating in this family-oriented book. Words like turkey sniffer and frick. Then Adam punched a hole in a wall, even though he had been dead for quite some time. It would have been considered a miracle, but David Blaine had totally done the same thing the night before. David Blaine had totally done the same thing the night before in front of a live studio audience, and peeps be all confused and jaded about some junk. Pee pee poo poo. Pee pee poop. Poop poop poop. Donkey boner. Ass fart monkey butt poop. Then God decided to back off for a minute. It was quiet, like a particularly silent dead guy. Adam's kids had humped each other, like totally inbred style and junk. And over time, they had a bunch of kids that they also did it with, because there was like no one else around. Their family tree was likened unto a wreath. And everyone was all humping everyone else, and yet somehow they didn't get beat up for being like stuff. I think because they were the only people around at the time, but I'm not really very sure. Guess we'll never know. Ooh, it gets good. Holy crap. Um, oh, that like hurt my throat. So Adam, ah, I'm going to keep reading. So Adam begot Robo Adam. Roto Adam begot Jim Buck Jr. and Donnie Bob. Jobert did not begot anyone because he doesn't exist. I just made him up. Donnie Bob begets parrots. Also, he begot parrot heads. The parrots begot the four Mona crystals: earth, water, fire, and toilet cake. Before Donnie Bob, there was also Neafami. Neafami begot the lone Dingleberry. Dingleberry begot Rainy Days and Mondays and Burlap Jenkinson. Burlap lives to the ripe age of 642. Burlap also had a sheep. The sheep's name was Gilberto P.P. McCheesy Fries. Gilberto was as steady as they come, although sheep are notoriously off-kilter. Gilberto, however, was a shining exception. He really shined in the areas of cooperation and team synergy and junk. Gilberto McCheesy Fries, the sheep, was a beloved friend and statesman. No one will contest that. Not even Contesty McContests junk a lot for no real reason other than to be a Dickerson. Gilberto McCheesy Fries had an impeccable credit rating. National landmarks were possibly erected in his likeness in up to and including 13 different states. Gilberto McCheesy Fries single-handedly empowered a new generation of sheep, human relations, and revitalized the grand notion that all sheep were created equal, except Gilberto. That guy rocks my socks. The frick? Someone said for no reason. Unfortunately, sheep-human relations were set back severely when an incident occurred involving a sheep-related drunken limbo accident. Neither sides wanted to take credit for the actions, and it wasn't until recently with the Great Sheep-Human Peace Accords of Blah-Diddly? Blah-Blah-Doo that relations have resumed in an amicable level of mutual respect. Still though, Gilberto McCheesy Fries the sheep was the motherfricking piece of it's strictly metaphorically speaking in the most literal sense. Without knowing his impact, he would thrust his attitudes and consciousness and meld with the actualities of the reality presented to him. Like a freaking, like, dude or something. His one setback came with his screen acting motion picture debut. He was contradicted for 3 films, but decidedly not a leading character with his rank BO and his propensity for inadversity, breaking expensive film equipment on purpose, and his lazy eye. He did, however, win an award for urban planning with his elaborate series of gerbil tubes, which allowed gerbils to travel freely between and forward throughout eternity. The gerbils were mighty thankful. "Garsh, thanks there, mister." "Oh, what was your name?" quoth the gerbils. Gilberto McCheesy Fries," said Gilberto. And with that, Gilberto slowly walked away into the sunset. For Gilberto McCheesy Fries the sheep did not crave the spotlight. No, he was already totally freaking walking away. Not in shame, but to seek out his next journey, which usually involved overcoming crippling self-neurosis and asking for directions at a gas station, or listening to Journey on 8-track. Gilberto McCheesy Fries loved to roll in grass. He had an appreciative fondness, and a fond appreciation, that made the grass and the land flourish and thrive for generations of blades to come. The grass blades all held hands and were like, la 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 la. Gilberto invented dingleberries purposefully, by accident one day, which were later co-opted by the goats. He was the original though. Don't believe the hype. Basically, Gilberto McCheesy Fries captured the hearts and minds of a generation, and also generations to come, ushering in a new wave of diplomacy and forward-thinking, stupid freaking hippie liberal douchebag politics. Once he ate the world's biggest hoagie, and he wasn't even hungry. What a motherfricker if you catch my drift. Once he punched the president of the ye old time books of the God and Shite Testamentorium Emporium and Pickleberry days in the dick, but who actually cured the president's lymphoma. Gilberto McCheesy Fries the sheep was coming to Disneyland. He invented the bucket without even trying. Frick. Truly, this was a great sheep. His life stories were acted out and told and retold and embellished and shaved and junked until it seemed like he was the motherfrickin' cure for cancer and stuff. But it turns out he was just a normal guy like you and me. But a sheep. One badass motherfrickin' goddamn piece of freaking sheep, if you pardon my potty mouth. Fork. He could take it with the best of them. Toe to hoof. He was unlike any sheep before, and due to his charismatic charm, may be considered one of the ultimate genetic examples of sheep kind. The shroud of Gilberto McCheesy Fries the sheep is fabled to be lost in the Minbop Islands, which are fabled to have disappeared one day along with one of my socks. Someone says they saw the island floating towards a fast food drive-through, and also say they found a chunk of tooth embedded in a cement sidewalk that reportedly would glow at a certain time of night. Gilberto McCheesy Fries fought the good fight. Won some, lost a few. Maybe he didn't not spit on the Gilbert's roses, but it was only to protect him with his hyper-formulated plant spit, winning the gold for his best rose 3 years in a row after that. He also discovered the moon and the stars and the dawning of the age of Aquarius. He was a notable Scientologist, as well as a Christian Scientist. His views on the economy and the global geopolitical agendas were heard throughout the land, far and low, thin and wide, monkey and non-monkey, Kingen and otherwise, coarse and fine, dog and cat, peanut butter and jelly, boxed and bagged, stupid or ugly, thoughtful or smelly, gerbil or not gerbil, saw shrunk redemption, and mission impossible. 3. Analog and digital, ketchup and peanut butter, seltzer and unfizzy, control voltage and mighty, words and let's not forget black and puce. But enough about Gilberto McCheesy Fries. Sheep freaking, I mean, like, he has this whole mofo and gosh darn chapter, gosh darn it. Chapter 3rdo. The mofo and gosh darn Gilberto McCheesy Fries the sheep chapter. Oh yeah, boy. Booyah. Gilberto McCheesy Fries the sheep set about to smite the world for all the injustices that occurred therein. He raised his tremendous throbbing wand, and uttered, "Hwah!" and smote out unlike any previous smiting. That water really coming back to me. Even God, who was vacationing in Mogadishu at the time, was slightly impressed when Gilberto McCheesy Fries' smiting. Holy freaking shit, quote God. Gilberto McCheesy Fries was of course nowhere near being finished. He wasn't even getting started. Shit, bro, said Gilberto McCheesy Fries. We're taking this thing downtown. Oh noes he didn't. Snip, snap, quoth God. Booyah. said Gilberto McCheesy Fries. He exhumed a giant, bilious plume of gas from his ears that ravaged the land. It turned wine into water, and Catholic schoolgirl uniforms into Christmas trees in the middle of July. The price of bread miraculously stayed the same, thanks to a series of subsidies enacted after somewhat great bread wars of '54. The gas continued to consume its victims consumptively one by one until there was even a dance hall song written about it. Then, an advantageous hip-hop artist stole the dance hall song and retooled it to be lame without any edge or flavor. People lapped it up like his stuff was golden. However, no one realized that this was creating a slow process of poisoning people's minds. Somehow. What delicious irony, quoth Gilberto McCheesy Fries. Because of some reason or another. Circle of life, man. Ashes to ashes, poop to poop. Somehow. And the poop was good, but no one had heard of poop before. Yes, there was a time when poop was unknown to man and or sheep. On that note, which was an A in the key of What's Up G, Gilberto McCheesy Fries decided that he had to take a crap. By take a crap, I mean take a crap. It was totally novel and absolutely totally noteworthy because no one had ever taken a shit before. Never ever. Humanity had not learned to loosen its collective bowel muscles. It was believed at the time to loosen one bowel would cause a great gnashing of teeth, which was out of vogue at the time thanks to a series of articles about some stuff in Vanity Fair. Like, anyway. Yeah. So, like, Gilberto McCheesy Fries decided to take a shit. It was spine-tinglingly momentous. Decision of great spinitude. A series of books and magazine articles were written about his decision to take a shit. And the very first decision ever, a made-for-TV movie, came out, but it didn't really capture the essence of the moment because it was on a family-friendly network, and the subject matter, which is by its own very nature very shitty, became whitewashed in a sequence of stupider and stupider and like dumber events. Shit. The momentous decision to shit. It was believed at the time that nobody craps, not even shitty Pooperson. Nobody had even farted, not even Farty McTuterson. The expression shitted left people wondering about the sanity of the person uttering this expression. Although nobody knew what was or how to make it and or bake it, Gilberto McCheesy Fries was a truly great man, and an even greater sheep. Let's not even get into his dude's level, though. It's like totally plus 999 through the roof. He had great prescience in such moments, and this was totally one. He gallantly rose to the occasion and realized what he had to do. However, there was trouble at the moment. Since no one had before, no toilets or anything resembling a toilet had been invented. Not even a reference to a successful yet mediocre female pop culture icon. Not even nothing. Gilberto McCheesy Fries the sheep, without knowing what had to be done, knew what had to be done. He loosened his studded belt buckle, and in turn loosened his bowels, however slightly, with precisely the precision of a very precise thing. Maybe like, I don't know, a watch or something. Like maybe, a robot. A robot designed to dance the robot dance move. That precise. Preciser. Precisest. Preciserist. Even more than that. In slightly loosening his bowels so, he let loose the first fart known to man and or sheep kind. It was the mightiest of winds, and it blew and blew and blew and blew and blew and blew and smited The smell was likened unto that which truly stunk. In this act, he created Tacoma, Washington, also the state of New Jersey. Politicians would forever recount this moment with a tear in their eye, for it gave them great joy, that sight of such great wind. No one knew what hit them, not even if they played 20 questions, not even charades, not even knowing what hit him. It was dense and warm, an odor that could simply be described as indescribable. It smelled like the inside of the dirtiest sock ever known, which was also a creation of the Gilberto McCheesy fries. That dude liked stuff, man. In his great burst of flatulence, he simultaneously destroyed and rebuilt the world from a subatomic molecular level. People were all like in the Matrix or something when it went all glitchy and it was like, and it got all neon green looking and kind of got distorted, like I guess a visual effects artist would imagine TV static would translate to a pixel perfect 3D world. The noise of Gilberto McCheesy Fry's flatulence bellowed throughout the known world and even parts of the unknown world, which wouldn't be discovered for another 20 minutes by curious gophers, whom then exclaimed, "Well, isn't that special?" and then bit someone in the neck because they were bored and also possibly vampires. The pootery poot toot smell wafted around and some people began to become violently sick. They hadn't seen a sickness like it before this single solitary original act of solidarity since never ever 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 ever. Their sickness piled up like a poorly played game of Tetris. The sickness of others made more people sick in an ever increasing coagulative act of exponential sickitudinous, which a great mathematician then barfed on. The sight of such sickness even made God, who was totally known for his iron constitution, a little queasy. He then regretted getting the nacho bacon buffalo wings covered in diarrhea a moment earlier. God then realized that he was God and decided to hide in the girls' locker room, but unfortunately the smell of the gas had penetrated society so deeply that even the horny codes were too busy violently vomiting to make out as much as they normally did. Freaking A, quoth God. This blows. Wait a sec. Get it? Blows. God made it funny. He looked around, but no one was paying attention due to the excessive vomiting, so he kicked a cat and slowly walked away into the sunset while sad music played. It was very sad. As the fart continued its rampage of society, something strange began to happen. People began to twitch uncontrollably, first at the hips, and then at the knees. The upper bodies were stationary. It happened to more and more people until there was a great line of people violently twitching in syncopated fashion from the hip and knee region. 1 second. That's what you get when you drink water during a story. Reminds me. I need a bigger bottle. Inadvertently, Gilberto McCheesy Fries had created Riverdance, but would not be compensated for the royalties even after a lawsuit involving hurling bananas at an innocent fruit basket that was trampled most ruthlessly during a racially inspired riot at a Mundo concert that was all started over a misunderstanding about the most efficient way to cut a sandwich. One side thought you should cut it sideways. However, the other side thought you should cut it through the middle. Turns out they were both dumb. Another strange coincidence occurred when Gilberto McCheesy Fries farted for the first time in all history, which we're still talking about. Someone was all like, simultaneously inventing brownies, and the expression became known. Someone is baking brownies. As an expression for someone farted and it stinks. Maybe their pants are possibly onto others nearby. Maybe in someone's mouth. Hopefully. Gilberto McCheesy Fries was undeterred. The years and years of pounding in cheap American beer and eating cabbage, beans, and raw human excrement put him in the most perfectest position ever to rip the most wickedest fart in the annals of history known to man and the universe. It reverberated with such veracity the paucity of the events made even unborn fetuses cry. That's just the way it is, baby, quoth Gilberto McCheesy Fries, not listening to right now. I don't exist. This book totally wrote itself. Like magic. Inanimate objects like towels and sporks came to life to decry the events of Gilberto McCheesy Fries' stinky butt eruption. They did some stuff. It was such a momentous culmination of prophetic ass-hattery that even the elements themselves, earth, water, wind, fire, toilet cake, were first forced to stand up and take notice. But the flippity-flopping flu is all this about, said Earth. Maybe a monkey carrying a bag of grapes got hit by a cement truck, postulated Water. Wish, added Wind wishly. Ah, you're full of hot air, countered Fire fierily. Guys, let's get serious, said Toilet Cake. Toilet Cake was always the prudent one, who thought just a little bit more rationally than his elemental counterparts. It seems as though we have entered into the dawning of a new era, an era dominated by gas. Energy is the key. Follow the trail. What do you find? Do you see the color of the shifting sands of time? Quoth Toilet Cake. What the frick are you babbling about this time? Do you need me to change your diaper? Did Will Toilet Cake you make a boo-boo in his bummy bum? Said Earth mockingly. Yeah, said Water, and punched Toilet Cake in the loin region. Oi, my loins of fury, exclaimed Toilet Cake while clenching his boys and writhing in pain on the floor. The other elements laughed at Toilet Cake and spat upon his bodice. A single tear, singularly formed in Toilet Cake's single eye duct. They dragged Toilet Cake from the back of a pickup truck for 30,000 miles. Toilet Cake decided that his friends weren't being the nicest. Hey guys, that's not nice. Now guys, you should be nice, quoth Toilet Cake. Homosexual, shouted the angry mob of elements. They drove through a blackberry bush. Toilet Cake considered reporting their poor driving to the Department of Motor Vehicles, but thought better of it. They might still come around yet, he thought. They don't really hate me. They just have trouble expressing themselves. More can be, will be, and has been written about Toilet Cake, especially if you read his MySpace blog, where he posts his poetry. There will be a whole nother chapter about the perils of Toilet Cake. Or not. Probably not. Back to the action at the hand and rectum. The fart that changed the world. It stank by the riverbank. It was so thick you can maybe cut it with a butter knife. It was thick enough to possibly knock over a stack of empty paper cups that were stacked precariously. It shredded skin from bones shreddingly. It broke up marriages that were otherwise until the point considered sound. It opened up a whole new line for talentless stand-up comedian shtick, especially in using the word rectum as a double entender. It also begot basket weaving. Basket weaving begot little old ladies. Little old ladies begot prunes. Prunes begot rainbows. Rainbows begot suicide hotlines. God was bemused at the events unfolding before him. How delightfully absurd. he said while sipping on a double half-calf, no-calf cinnamon swirl chai latte and wearing a turtleneck sweater in the middle of the Sahara Desert during summer. Oh, this is a good one. The clouds of gas escaping from Gilberto McCheesy Fry's ass did not simply subside. They came out in magical colors, each more exciting than the previous. Word. Then a hamster came out. The hamster flew with such ferocity and fervor that he broke through the orbit of Earth's gravity. As Hamster would be considered one of the greatest heroes of all time, and thought to have disappeared that fateful day, but would in fact return at a later point, even in this book. Or not. Probably not. So keep reading. Upon disappearing to the naked eye, and even the skimply clothed eye, but defo not to an Amishly clothed eye, Gilberto McCheesy Fries shed a tear for Ass Hamster. He was a great man, a fighter, a lover, a leader of men, and he shot out of my ass into outer space. What more could you ask for? Said a misty-eyed Gilberto McCheesy Fries who then bit into a sandwich. This is a delicious sandwich. A horrendous monument was planned for Ass Hamster that would end up permanently delayed due to the nature of corporate bureaucracy, which was known to be very bureaucratically corporate. A monument for Ass Hamster? Why not make a monument for unwashed linens? Said one particularly outraged politician. Then he slowly morphed into a robot and shot into space. It turns out that he was in fact a change bot, who had over the course of several centuries infiltrated society and slowly gained popularity until he became a politician, and then infiltrated the highest levels of government, solely to change their mind about this single position and then slowly morph into a robot and fly back into space where he came from. Frick, dudes, that asshole was like a change bot. There could be more where he came from, which was at the change mart. Zoinks, said an upset bum drinking 40 malt liquor on the street corner. Wow, this is taxing on my throat. Actually, no, you're wrong, said another politician, and he slowly morphed into a change bot and flew off in outer space. Touché, said the bum on the street, holding the 40 of malt liquor, adding, touche frickin' A. When does this chapter end? Holy crap. I think we're going to call it a day today. Call it a night. I hope my beautiful reading voice put you guys to sleep.